You upload a long document, the AI gives you an answer, and a few messages later it's acting like it never saw the file at all.
If that's been your experience, you've been fighting the wrong problem this whole time. I spent weeks throwing huge documents and entire stacks of files at Grok 4.3 to find where it breaks. And the thing that actually shocked me is hiding behind one number that almost everyone scrolls right past. Welcome back to bitbiased.ai, where we do the research so you don't have to. Join our community of AI enthusiasts with our free weekly newsletter. Click the link in the description below to subscribe. You will get the key AI news, tools, and learning resources to stay ahead. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through everything Grok 4.3 actually does. The million token memory, the reasoning you can dial up or down, tool calling, structured outputs. And I'll show you live demos for documents, coding, and tools, so you know exactly when to reach for it and how to get your money's worth. Let's start with what's actually under the hood, what Grok 4.3 actually is. Grok 4.3 is xAI's new flagship model, and the headline spec is the one that matters most in day-to-day work, a 1 million token context window. To put that in human terms, that's somewhere around 1,500 pages of text you can drop into a single session. That's the entire reason it forgets so little. You're not feeding it a tiny window and praying it remembers the start of the conversation. You can hand it a whole codebase, a stack of PDFs, or a long research thread, and it holds all of it at once. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because the spec sheet only tells half the story. Grok 4.3 takes both text and images as input, but it only gives you text back. No image generation, no audio. If that's what you need, xAI has separate tools for it, and this model is strictly the reasoning brain. xAI describes it as their most advanced model for non-hallucination rate, agentic tool calling, and instruction following. And the way they frame the lineup is blunt. For almost everything, just use 4.3, because it's the most intelligent and fastest thing they've built. The other number with burning into your memory is the knowledge cutoff. December 2025. So out of the box, it knows the world up to late last year and nothing after. That's not a flaw, it's just a boundary you have to design around. And I'll show you exactly how to get past it with search tools in a couple of minutes. Quick question while we're here, drop it in the comments. Are you mostly using AI for coding, for documents, or for research? Because the right settings genuinely change depending on your answer. And I want to know who I'm talking to. The features that actually matter. Let's talk about the controls, because this is where most people leave performance on the table. The single most useful one is reasoning mode. Grok 4.3 can run in a full chain of thought mode where it genuinely thinks step by step before answering. Or you can switch that off for fast, direct responses. And it's not just on or off. There's a reasoning level you can set to none, low, medium, or high. High is what you want for hard logic, math, or gnarly multi-file coding problems. None is what you want when you just need a quick translation or a factual lookup, and you don't want to pay for the model to sit there pondering. One thing to know up front, that internal thinking gets billed at the same rate as your regular output. So reasoning isn't free. It's a tool you spend deliberately. Then there's tool calling. And this is the feature that turns Grok from a chatbot into something closer to an assistant that can actually do things. You can hand it web search. You can hand it a code interpreter that runs real Python in a sandbox. And you can define your own custom functions with a JSON schema. When Grok decides it needs one, it doesn't pretend to know the answer. It outputs a clean little call, something like tool, get weather, arguments, city Paris. And then your application runs that function and feeds the result back. You stay in control of what actually executes. Wait until you see how this combines with the next one, because structured outputs are the quiet superpower here. Instead of getting a wall of prose you have to parse, you can hand Grok a JSON schema, and it will return data that matches it. Typed, predictable, ready to drop straight into your app. That's the difference between an AI demo and an AI feature you can ship. And if you're building anything where the output feeds another system, this is the setting that'll save you the most headaches. If that's the kind of thing you're building, hit subscribe, because the next few demos are going to show you exactly how it looks in practice. Demo 1, chatting with a document. Let's make this real. Here I've got a PDF of a sales report. And instead of copying and pasting chunks of it into the prompt like it's 2023, I'm just going to attach it directly. You can point Grok at a public URL or upload the file to get a file ID. Either way works. Then I ask the simplest possible question. What was the total revenue in this report? Watch what happens. Grok doesn't ask me to paste anything. It indexes the document on its own, searches it, and pulls the number straight out. And this is the thing people underestimate. It's not limited to clean little reports. You can throw manuals, logs, spreadsheets, source code, all of it into the same conversation. Because remember, you've got that million token window to play with. One quick tip while this runs. Make sure your file is actually publicly accessible if you're using a URL. Otherwise, upload it through the file's API first. That's the #1 reason these requests silently fail for people. So that's documents handled. But a model that can only read isn't that exciting. Let me show you what happens when it starts writing. Grok as a coding assistant. For coding, the move is the Grok CLI agent. It's a community-built command line tool that runs Grok 4.3 behind the scenes, and it lives right in your terminal. I launch it inside my project folder, point it at the directory, and now it has context on the actual files I'm working with, not some abstract snippet I pasted. Now here's the part that surprised me. I ask it to refactor a function to be more efficient, and instead of just spitting out code and hoping, it can spin up subagents and call that code interpreter we talked about. Meaning it can actually run the Python, check the result, and then hand me back something that works rather than something that merely looks right. You watch it reason through the steps, call its tools, and report back. And if you're scripting this into a pipeline, there's a headless mode, so you can run one-shot prompts without the interactive interface at all. This is the workflow that genuinely changes how a day feels. Attach the repo, describe the change, let it verify its own work. If you've been burned by AI code that compiles in the chat window and explodes in production, this self-checking loop is the whole point. Tell me in the comments what language you're working in, because I'm thinking about doing a deeper coding-only walkthrough, and I want to build it around what you actually use. Tools and structured output. Let me close the demo loop by tying tools and structured output together, because this is where it stops being a toy. Say I want today's weather, something the model genuinely cannot know, because its knowledge stops in December 2025. I define a get_weather function as a tool. I ask the question, and Grok responds not with a guess, but with a tool call. My app runs the real weather API, passes the answer back, and Grok finishes the sentence with live data. That's how you beat the knowledge cutoff. You don't wait for the model to magically know, you give it a way to go find out. And then structured output puts a bow on it. I ask for the top 3 customers and their sales, but I tell Grok to return it as JSON matching a schema I define. Instead of a paragraph I have to clean up, I get a clean array of objects I can pipe straight into a dashboard. Read it back to yourself. Live external data in a typed format from a single prompt. That's the combination that turns this from a clever chat into actual infrastructure.
Getting your money's worth.
Let's talk settings, because the defaults will quietly cost you. The first thing to fix is max tokens. On some platforms, it defaults painfully low, and the result is answers that just stop mid-thought. If your responses keep getting cut off, that's almost always the culprit. So set it generously, somewhere in the 1 to 4,000 range, depending on the task. For accuracy, drop your temperature down towards 0. That's what you want for factual or code work, where you need the same reliable answer every time. Save the higher, more creative temperatures for brainstorming. Here's a habit that pays for itself. Stream your output on long jobs. Instead of staring at a blank screen wondering if it crashed, you watch the answer build in real time, and you sidestep timeouts on those big reasoning runs. And on cost, this is the genuinely good news. Grok 4.3 runs at about $1.25 per million input tokens and $2.50 per million output. Compared to a lot of the competition sitting up around $15 per million output, that's not a small gap. That's a different category of pricing. One analysis literally called it Pareto optimal. Strong performance, low cost, the corner of the chart you actually want to live in. If you're finding this useful, a like genuinely helps the channel, and it costs you a lot less than 1 million tokens. The pitfalls nobody warns you about. Now let me save you the mistakes I made so you don't have to. First and most important, do not feed Grok personal, sensitive, or confidential data. XAI says this directly in their own documentation. Assume anything you send may be logged, and on the X integrated side, conversation data can be used to train the model by default. So for anything proprietary or private, treat it accordingly and use the proper enterprise channels. Second, and I say this as someone who genuinely likes the model, it still hallucinates. The non-hallucination rate is improved, but improved is not eliminated. And XAI themselves warn it can confidently hand you something that's flat wrong. For anything that matters, legal, medical, financial, verify it. Treat Grok as a very capable assistant, not an oracle. And a couple of smaller traps to round it out. If your structured output keeps failing, your schema is probably too complex, so simplify it. If a tool call breaks your conversation, it's usually because you didn't feed the result back. And if you ever need to force a plain text answer with no tools at all, you can set tool choice to none and see exactly how the model behaves on its own.
How it stacks up.
So where does it actually land against the field? Against older Grok models, 4.3 is both cheaper and smarter. That's a rare combination. Usually you trade one for the other. Against the broader competition, that million token context comfortably beats the typical 128,000 window you see on a lot of GPT class models, which matters enormously the second you're working with big documents or large code bases. On the intelligence benchmarks, it scores well above its predecessor and runs fast doing it. It's not the undisputed champion on every single hardest of the hard coding and math task. Some analyses have it trailing the very top tier there, and one even described it as occasionally hesitating in agent tasks instead of just acting. But for breadth of capability at this price, it's genuinely hard to argue with. So let's bring it home. Grok 4.3 is a long context, multimodal input model with reasoning you can control, tools you can plug in, and structured output you can build on. And it only gives you text back, with a knowledge cutoff at December 2025 that you beat using search. It's a fantastic fit for coding, document work, and research, as long as you set your tokens high, your temperature low for accuracy, keep sensitive data out, and verify anything that really matters. If this gave you a clearer picture of when to actually reach for Grok 4.3, do me a favor and subscribe. This is exactly the kind of breakdown I do here every week. Tell me down in the comments which demo you want me to go deeper on. The documents, the coding, or the tool calling, and I'll build the next one around whatever wins. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.